Hey everyone, it's been a while. I've been hard at work on my game, and the amount of changes and content that have been made since the last devlog are already considerable. I hope everyone saw the trailer that I released for the game a little while ago. If you didn't, it's got a lot of content that I haven't shown off before and a new song that I made. I'll put a link in the description and up here. Go check that out if you haven't already. Also, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on any of my videos like the trailer. The biggest change that's been made since the last video is changing my game engine. For a long time now, I've been wishing I could use Construct 3 instead of Construct 2. There's a lot of features that would make my life so much easier. I was ranting to someone one night about how I wish I could use Construct 3 when they asked, can't you just change your game from Construct 2 to Construct 3? I was like, of course not, don't you think I've thought of that? Then I thought about it, and I realized I'd never actually thought about it. I looked it up, and sure enough, you can convert a game from Construct 2 to Construct 3. I had always just assumed that you couldn't, so there's a lesson for you, don't assume things. Now you may be asking, why did I want Construct 3 so much? Well, Construct 2 is a great engine on its own, but it's the outdated version of the software. It's no longer being updated, and most everyone who uses Construct uses 3. Construct 3 also has the option to save files to your drive instead of to the computer, which means that you can work on them anywhere. Additionally, there were a lot of things that I was doing in my project manually that Construct 3 would be able to automate. I have a dialogue system that was such a pain because for some reason in Construct 2 you can't open and edit arrays. In Construct 3 though, I can type my dialogue directly into the array and edit it, instead of typing it into a text file, extracting the text, importing into the array, and then drawing from the array. It was a huge pain. My dialogue system is a lot easier to use and manage now. There's a lot of other small reasons why I made the switch, none of which I want to spend too much time talking about. In general, the engine is more polished, easier to use, and provides simpler solutions to a lot of systems in my game, so it was definitely worth the upgrade. There is one big change you'll probably notice right away. I'm in the process of changing all the character art and animations in my game. The player was the first sprite I made in the game as it stands, so it's a bit outdated and it doesn't really portray the character how I initially envisioned. The new animations look a lot better already in my opinion, and I hope this brings more life and character into the game. I also worked on making the player attacks much more juicy. For reference, here's an old attack. And here's a new one. You'll notice a few things that I changed. First off, now attacking will change your vector X and Y. If attacking from the side, it will move you back a bit. From the top, you can pogo on top of enemies. From underneath, it will cut off your vector Y when you attack so you don't jump into the enemy and take damage. Also, I added a little animation that spawns when you hit an enemy. Yeah, I don't really know why, but it just makes things look a little better. I also added a little particle shot that has some white essence coming off the enemy. Again, I'm not sure why, but it makes it look, it just looks nice, I don't know. All these things combined make the attacks feel a lot more responsive. I'm interested in your feedback on stuff like this. If you have anything to say, I do always read my comments, and you can also join my Discord server to discuss the game or anything else that's on your mind. One artistic change I've made is the decision to blur backgrounds. I think it adds a lot of depth and makes it easier to distinguish the midground from the background without changing my color palette. This was another thing that was made way easier in Construct 3. In Construct 2, I was using a random website to blur my backgrounds and then importing them and downscaling each individual background. In Construct 3, I'm using a block that I just put 3 different effects on to automatically blur everything behind it. It's a lot easier. I also added my first NPC to the game. You can see him in the trailer for a short time. I don't want to spoil too much, but my plan is to have NPCs that you'll find around the world time and time again as you explore, and they'll each have unique dialogue for each location. Here's some of my early doodles for the NPC. I love this guy. I'm also working on a brand new area with a totally unique color palette and some really fun mechanics. Adding these mechanics kind of messed up a lot of the physics stuff for the whole game, so I had to go back and squash a lot of bugs in my code. I remember specifically saying in another devlog that I would add more comments to the code to make it more readable, but I haven't really been doing that, and fixing these bugs reminded me why it's so important. I found random lines of code that messed stuff up, but I couldn't remember why they were there. I started finally adding comments to my code so I can stop being a danger to myself. I also recently had someone play my game, and they suggested that when you enter a new area, you automatically move on screen. It's definitely been something I'm aware of, but I've been lazy and ignoring the problem, so I finally got around to it. Now when you enter from below, it tracks what direction you were facing before the level transition and sets your direction that way on entrance. Similarly, when entering from the side, you'll lose control for 0.5 seconds to allow the player to walk in from the side. It feels a lot better now, and there's a lot less falling immediately after jumping from a bottom entrance, which was really annoying. I also finished the first boss of the game. He's got 4 unique attacks, and I'm just in the process of testing his difficulty to get it just right. Obviously I can't show it, but I may include it in a bigger demo at some point. I also made some music for this boss fight that I am really proud of. Here's a short clip to satisfy your ears. I'll definitely have some cool stuff coming out in the future, such as bigger demos or opportunities for testers. If you're interested in stuff like that, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on any opportunities. Also, check out my Patreon. There is a demo that's already available to all patrons, and I will be uploading new ones soon. Since I can't show too much of what I've been doing now because it would spoil the game, I decided to just kind of walk you through my process of game design as of right now. A lot of the main planning is done on paper. For a new area, I first brainstorm potential enemies and mechanics that I could add. Enemies are things like goblins and flies and spiders and whatnot, while mechanics are more level-specific obstacles like the trapdoors in Queen's Gardens in Hollow Knight or the burrow mechanic in Ori. When I plan a mechanic, I try to come up with as many potential variations on that mechanic as I can, in a really simple drawn style. Then I do some more detailed level design by drawing out each map for each level. This allows me to place each mechanic where it should be and plan out where enemies will go. Obviously, it's never 100% accurate to what shows up in the final level, but it's usually pretty darn close. Doing this makes sure that each level is carefully planned out and includes as many cool puzzles or situations as possible. If I was just randomly drawing a tile map, there's no way I could come up with puzzles on the fly. I actually really enjoy the design process, and it's probably one of my favorite parts of game development in general, besides seeing the final product. Hopefully that explanation kind of helped you understand the stuff I'm up to right now without showing you too much. Anyways, development has definitely been slow but steady. I'm really busy with work and I'm preparing to move on to the next stage of my life now that I've graduated school. I don't know exactly what that will look like at this point, but that is the main reason I haven't started anything like a Steam page or Kickstarter for now. Right now, I just want to be clear that I am very passionate about this game, and I also am still very passionate about my animations, but I don't know how long they'll take. Thank you for your patience with everything, because I take forever to do literally everything. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.